Hi guys, this is Coach Joe Micela. Today we're gonna go over technique on the jerk, okay? Especially for those athletes that have a problem after a heavy clean when they're succeeding with the jerk, whether it be from a fatigue factor, a technical factor, whatever the case may be. This is a complex that we use to help those athletes overcome that, okay? What we're gonna do here, and we have National Youth Silver Medalist Micela, who's gonna go over an exercise, is we're gonna perform 2 push presses first. Then a front squat followed immediately by a jerk, and then repeat that. Okay, so we're gonna have the push presses separate and then a front squat and jerk separate, okay, from that. So why do that? We use the push press, okay, to develop that drive through the legs and that vertical thrust. It's a huge strength component, but also teaches that vertical drive. Okay, I find it one of the best exercises next to the jerk to teach someone the major mechanics of performing that exercise. When we do it in this fashion, not only is working on as a prepper for the movement of the jerk to keep them aligned vertically, but it then fatigues them. So now when they go into a front squat, okay, they're now performing a movement, they have to re-transition their hands, and now they have to hit their jerk. So again, we're tiring their legs out a little bit, we've tired their shoulders, tired their legs, and now they're gonna perform technically the jerk. Now with this particular exercise, we don't use really heavy weights. Maybe we stay up to about 80% of their best clean and jerk. Why? Because it's more of a technical drill. It's a complex. We want to work with them. More advanced level athletes will probably go a little bit heavier with it, maybe into that 90-95% range, but we're doing it this way, okay? Younger athletes to work on that, focusing on the drill. Here we go. He dips and drives. We're a big 4-inch drive. Back down. He resets, dips and drives again. Boom. Lowering the bar back into position, he performs the front squat. He stands up, resets, and he drives for the jerk. Good. He does a front squat again. Again, each time he's lowering that bar, he has to work on that strength and control. And he drives through and down. Okay? And he puts it back into the rack. That re-racking of the bar is going to develop that eccentric loading in his shoulders, in his lats. Okay? Again, we're not going to do this with like 95% of his best. Okay, but if he's doing it in that 70%, 60%, up to about 80, 85%, he's going to develop that strength and that control. Not only for his shoulders and his rack position, but also in his upper back, okay? His core strength. Then he goes into that front squat. Again, works on bracing, okay? Can you add another movement? Can you add the clean to this? Yes, but we prefer to use this one. We're working on that aspect of the movement. And I like that coming out of that front squat, some athletes have to dramatically change their position. He didn't have to do that dramatically here. Okay, but then they go right into that jerk. So it's the last thing. So when you're tired, you perform all these other drills, you have to work on that. Okay, we're not going to do it again with higher percentages weights. We're going to do it a little bit lower, and it looks really good. Okay, try this in your program. Maybe add it about 3 to 4 working sets once you worked up. And it could use this as a pre-exercise for your clean and jerks. So you may use this for 3 or 4 sets, then you go into your regular clean and jerks right after that. Sometimes we get questions about what is the most important factor of the jerk. For me, it's just keeping everything vertical. Most people don't dip either, they'll either dip too shallow, creating now a vertical drive, or excuse me, a horizontal drive out of the barbell. Or they'll dip too deep, okay, and dropping their chest even more, okay? And then they're losing that reflective nature of the movement. It should be a 4-inch dip down and a thrust vertically to about the crown of their head. Once they get to the bar, to about the crown of their head, then it's about wedging their body under the bar in a smooth line, okay? If I step up to this area of the platform, and you may or may not be able to see this on camera, but there's a crack or a line that goes right through both these rubber mats. If I stand on that line, okay, that's from a symmetry standpoint. When I'm dipping and I'm driving and I'm splitting underneath the bar, okay, I'm not trying to fly in the air, okay? I'm trying to get to that extension and I'm going to try to level change my body straight down. My hips are still in this area. If I were to put a little square underneath my feet, we refer to it sometimes as our area base. I want to stay there. I don't want the bar to be in front of that area of base or behind me when I'm jerking. I want to stay down, keeping my body here, wedging. Too many people, too, feel like they're flying in the air and they're galloping. I'm only getting onto my toes or I don't want to minimize flight in the air. Where in my version of Olympic weightlifting is that we're teaching drive and thrust through the ground. The next most important thing is stability, okay? Without anything in between. The longer you're in the air, I'm not pushing on the ground anymore. I'm not stabilizing anymore, okay? It's waste. So we go from that drive into that stability. And within that stability, our feet, one in the front, one in the back. I'm a big back leg bent guy, okay? Lead leg bent, back leg bent, okay? But I'm also that your legs are slightly out to the side like a tripod and we're not on a balance beam and we're here wobbling, okay? Stability and balance between both legs. Hips square, back toe square, okay? Everything in this position, everything over this area. When I recover out of that area, I'm always thinking vertical. Big thing with me is minimizing horizontal displacement of that barbell over here. The more my body has to move back and forth, the more I have to try to stabilize. But if I keep that bar in that line as I wedge down, as I recover out, I'm going to be more efficient. I'm using less muscles to now having to try to stabilize it. Does it happen? Yes. So the bar sometimes goes out in front or comes behind, but it's not ideal. So if we can practice that movement of the jerk in this vertical plane as much as possible, the better we're going to be. There should be an equal distribution of balance and weight distribution between your lead leg and trail leg. We're going to have Nino come over here. He's going to demonstrate just a jerk again, that 4-inch dip. Again, he's dipping straight, drive. It's vertical. If you look down on the ground, he's lined with his ankles almost to that crack on the ground. He dips and drives, punch. His hips kind of stay in that general area. 1 or 2 inches, not the biggest deal. Move up just a smidge. Ooh, little less, go back, right there. Let's try it again. Straight dip, straight drive, punch, push up and down. Good, that was a lot better. Good, he puts it in the rack, okay? Horizontal displacement, again, front to back just minimizes and decreases your chance of success. Do you want to see this person run around the platform with that barbell over their head? No, we want to be as efficient as possible. So again, working on that 4-inch dip to load the quads, to load the glutes, to drive vertically in the air, and then again, to wedge our body straight under the bar, okay? I feel that teaching the jerk fairly early in the development of Olympic weightlifters is very important. The great Alexander Karlovich, once we had a conversation for a very, very long period of time at one of the Junior World Championships. We talked specifically about this because he had a phenomenal jerk. At one time, he had jerked 266 kilos over his head. They didn't give him the lift, but he got it over his head. But 266 kilos, and routinely he was in the 260s, okay, range. But he said teach beginners the jerk from the get-go because it's a feel, okay? It's about timing, okay? The two groups of athletes, in my opinion, that pick up the jerk the quickest are girls and young boys. Why is that? Not big, strong guys like myself early on. Because big guys like me want to try to muscle through the movement. And there's like, I'm just going to keep pressing. I'm just going to keep pushing as hard as I can. Where young boys, like my son here, or some of the girls, they don't have that upper body strength to keep pushing through. What's your best jerk? 110 kilos, 242 pounds. Okay, he weighs 140 pounds, which is like 67 kilos, give or take. Okay, he can't just press 242 pounds over his head, but he relies on his timing, his strength, and other muscle groups to drive that bar over his head. He can't muscle through it, so he has to rely on technique. So that's why those two groups, because they don't have that excessive strength on their upper body, they pick it up faster. And that's why it's easier to teach those two groups of people. Humble yourself to understand that timing, the timing of the footwork and the split. Learning how to drive with force, how to extend, and how to stabilize are all going to be huge components to make you successful. Because especially in the sport of Olympic weightlifting, it's going to come down to clean and jerk to determine a gold medal. Okay? Snatches keeps you into the competition, but clean and jerks wins gold medals. And if you can understand that and dedicate your time to it, there's nothing worse than just seeing people stand up with a clean and oop, oop, they drop a jerk, okay? They can't succeed in it, okay? So you have to drill. Drills like we showed earlier, drills like this to work on that is going to be beneficial for you. Take care.